Brian, thanks for joining us. 10 months since you were appointed Technical Director at Bristol City. How are you and how have things been going?
Yeah, really enjoyable. I've enjoyed the role so far. We're putting a plan in place that's going to stay there for the long-term future, and we've got a way of playing now, so the recruitment of the players becomes a little bit easier, I think, because a lot of players that were on there will go off there because of the style we're playing now and the sort of play we want. The staff have been really supportive, the recruitment team have been great and worked extremely hard and helped me, and the academy staff and the first team staff have been great too, so it's been pretty easy to settle into the role. I've got a good relationship with Nige, which is important, and that's probably grown since I've got this role. So we're really all together as a football club now, I think, and the academy, the first team are viewed the same to me, and we want that pathway through to the first team, and I can help that now.
Good to hear. It's the first chance we've spoke since the end of the transfer window, so we're going to dwell on that for a second. Firstly, what is the transfer window like for yourself, the recruitment team? Is it exciting, frustrating, rewarding, or a bit of everything, really?
I think a bit of everything, but I think a lot of the work is done before. So as soon as this window's shut now, we're planning for the January window and the summer window next year. So there's a lot of hard work and planning goes into it. We did our work really early in the window. We had, I think, 3 of the players. We had Rob and Ross and Hayden all done before the window actually opened. So we were really active, and we wanted to do that to make sure we got the right players in early. Then we got Jason Knight a little bit after that when we come back from Austria. So we were really happy with the window, and yeah, there's a lot of hard work goes in. There's a lot of frustrations. We missed out on a couple that were high on our list, but then we were lucky to get the ones in that we did, who were also very high on our list. So you lose some, you win some, you lose some, and it's frustrating at times, but it's rewarding when you look back and you look at the players you've got in, and you think that's a good window for us, especially with Taylor a little bit later on from West Brom, who's a really talented young player. You
can never tell how players are going to perform, but you must be pretty happy with how Rob, Hayden, Taylor and Jason have done so far.
Yeah, very much so. They've settled in well, and I think that's getting them in early is really important, because they can settle in with the squad. As I say, 3 of them went to Austria, so they were very much part of it straight away. Jason was in just after that, Taylor a little bit later, but I think the characters they are and the sort of people they are, they've settled in really well with a good group of players as well who's already here. So it looks a good, solid squad, exciting squad, and we're looking forward to seeing how the season pans out.
On the flip side, how frustrating is it to see Ross McCrory out until after Christmas?
Yeah, very much so. He's a bubbly, good character, Ross, and he'll be a good player for us in the long term. It's frustrating for him and for us now to pick up an injury he's picked up, but we'll support him and we'll get him ready for when he's back, and he'll come back and show everyone, I'm sure, what a good player he is.
We sold Alex Scott for a club record fee. As the person who was integral in bringing him into the club in January 2020 as a 16-year-old, what were your emotions when you see him get that Premier League move after 90-odd first team appearances at Bristol City?
It's a bit of a mix, because you want him to stay here and play in the Premier League for us, Bristol City, of course we do. But he's made brilliant strides in the 3 years he's been here. He's a fantastic young person, so you can't not be happy for him. And once he made it clear really that he wanted to go to the Premier League and he thought he was ready to go to the Premier League, and the right fee came in for him, then it was a little bit inevitable in the end. But we're pleased for him, but a little bit of sadness that we haven't kept him a bit longer and had the opportunity to see him flourish and play in the Premier League with us.
You've also done a brilliant job securing new contracts for some of our young academy players, Max O'Leary, Cam Pring, Harvey Wiles-Richards, Ephraim Yeboah, and lately Zach Viner. How important is signing those contracts?
Yeah, I think it's really important for the football club going forward. We want a bit of stability in our squad. I think there's been a lot of change over the last 2 or 3 years. There's been a lot of departures. There's been a lot of people out of contract in summers where they've left, and I think it's time for the club to have some stability. And we've got a real style of play we want to play now throughout the football club, from the academy through the first team, and then players who we've wrapped up on contracts are really important for that. Zach Viner was a massive one for us, not only the person and the player on the pitch, but how important he is at the football club and around the place. And when the young players train with the first team, he's so important to them, because he's he's brilliant with them and he helps them because he's been there, and to see an academy player like that so influential around the place is really important for us.
When you see Sam Bell scoring the winner at Swansea away, jumping up on those ad boards, fans going crazy, he makes the standby list for England under-21s. How does that make you feel?
Goosebumps. We watched the under-15-16s game here on the Saturday morning. We all came in and watched the game here in the HPC, and everybody was jumping up and down when he scored, and it's such a brilliant feeling for such a good young lad as well. He's such a hard-working player. He's done a lot of extra work on his own, so he deserves every success. But the staff here have done a brilliant job with the young players in the coaching and the looking after them, and then when they've gone to the first team, it's just continued. So we're so pleased for Sam and all the rest of the young players who are getting that opportunity and taking it.
He's certainly not the only one to make it from the academy to the first team, and the production line keeps on going. Ephraim Yeboah making his debut this season, Rafael Araoya and Jamie Knight-Labella feature on the bench. How proud should City fans be of the academy system here?
Very much so. It's a really important part of the football club, and it will continue to be going forward. We've got lots of talented young players here who are going to get the opportunity to play for this football club. Ephraim is an unbelievable talent, but also a brilliant young lad who wants to work hard. His mentality is tough, and he's going to stay in that first team squad, I think, and he's going to be a top player for us. And it gives the rest of the young players around him who are good and they're nearly there, that drive to go and join him and join Sam Bell and Tommy and the rest of them. So I think it's going to be a continuation over the years. I think we've got lots of young players who are going to make it into our first team and flourish, and we just want to keep them a little bit longer if we can and make it a successful team and a team that goes into the Premier League with these boys.
You mentioned it there. Younger players looking at Sam Bell, looking at Tommy Conway, seeing they're getting that opportunity in the first team and they're scoring goals. How big is that for the club's academy to say, look, you can make it in the first team here, we give opportunities? How massive is that?
Well, it is, because we don't just talk it, we show it. And we show the examples and we show the young players who are coming through. If you have the right attitude, if you work hard, if you have a good mentality, you will get the opportunity here. And it doesn't matter whether you're in the 18s or the 21s. Ephraim has jumped straight into the first team from the 18s virtually. Played a few games in the 21s, but not many. So if you're doing it, the age is not a barrier. And Nigel showed that. He took Scotty at 17, he took Ephraim at 17, and Sam and Tommy were in there at 18 around the squad. So the age is not a barrier. So it's really a strong message for the young players that if you perform and if you show the right attitude, you'll have an opportunity at this football club.